Good evening to Macclesfield Town Hall. We're here for the Macclesfield Town Council Services Committee, dated the 13th of October, and it is 7 o'clock. You can certainly tell that the year is ticking on with the fact that the nights are starting to draw in a bit more now, so yes, no, Christmas before we know it. Sorry. So moving on with the agenda, we'll go straight into item 1, apologies for absence.
Councillor Fiona Wilson.
Thank you very much. And item 2, any declarations of interest at all? No. Just to note as well, Councillor Livingston may be a few minutes late.
Yes.
He's just running behind, so when he arrives, he'll be to the strength. Item 3, we've got minutes of the Services Committee meeting held on the 30th of June 2025. Just need to approve those minutes.
Yeah.
Proposing those and seconded by Councillor Warren. All those in favour? Thank you. And any matters arising from those minutes at all? No? Okay. Moving on to item 5. So we've got community, 5.1 is community engagement updates. Thank you.
So just to say huge thanks to our volunteers, because we've now got 30. They're doing a brilliant job helping with the events. So it's nice to see that team's growing. Been to quite a few meetings since the last Services Committee, community meetings. I know Councillor Bennett-Waite was at the Macclesfield Partnership meeting. It's really informative, lots of groups get together, it's local schools, councillors, people from the NHS, so it's just a good chance to network really and share ideas, and we have priorities that we work towards as a group, so hopefully the outcome of that will be when we get grant applications and things in for Finance Committee, I can let the committee know if they meet the priorities that we're working on towards as a partnership. So that's really interesting. I've been invited to the Care Community Group for the first time, so this is mainly NHS based, but that was really interesting because they're trying to get more people to come into town for things like blood pressure checks and health checks. So they were talking about ways they can maximise our free bus days to do things like that. So they're the main sort of highlights.
Thank you. Also, it's great to note from the agenda the Feed 500 community meal at Chewcombe Market coming up. So
Yes.
yes, a really good way to feed people as well as reducing waste.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments? Councillor Bennett-Waite.
Sorry, Chair, I forgot to say my the Green in the Corner is mentioned in this report, and I'm a director, so it's an pecuniary interest. And just to really back up what the Assistant Town Clerk has said, that his meetings are really important, and there was a lot of informal networking going on there as well. That we've all sort of got the same aims about increasing people's health and well-being, and it's good to have everyone in the same place and do that. Care Community are working on an evidence-based project to put fruit and veg on prescription in Hertsfield, so they're working on that project, but it also ties in quite well with we went to it's not a Macclesfield Town Council, but as a Cheshire East councillor, we had an enabling communities meeting the other day, and it kind of all fits together where we're all going to join hands and do our best for the community that we represent. So, you know, thank you, Helena, for going, and thank you for all the lovely volunteers and all the groups who do great work in Macclesfield.
Any other comments, questions? So 5.2 CVS CV.
Yeah, so CBS has provided a really comprehensive report about the support that they're giving to the local groups. A lot of them are grant recipients or grant applicants, so they support those, but also in here is mentioned the fruit and veg on prescription project that Councillor Bennett-Waite has just mentioned. So that's managed by CVS at the moment. So they've got a food coordinator, Graham, and he's sort of starting that project out, but it's I think this will be the first pilot outside of London, won't it? Is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah, so it's really exciting that Mansfield's involved. So yeah, they provided a really detailed report.
Yeah, no, fantastic report, and it's great to hear that we're hopefully be pioneering something through the veg on prescription. Any questions or comments? No, thank you. So moving on to item 6, local service delivery. Item 6.1 is the events updates.
Yeah.
Events officer.
Thank you. We had a busy summer. We had the 6 weeks of Do Something Summer, and then we had 1261 kind of nestled within that. So it was a busy time, but very fun and very well attended. So we had our 6 different activities over Do Something Summer every Wednesday. We try not to do the same thing every year because we want to offer a bit of variety, but we do try and bring up popular stuff. So even though we still have the climbing wall this year, we mixed in a sort of STEM-based activity, put in some Lego, so it's not all just sort of arty stuff or all athletic stuff. It's a general mix, so hopefully there's something for everyone. They were really well attended. What's quite nice is every time we have an external contractor come in and do these activities, is that they're always shocked by how well attended they are, like how busy it gets, and that's what we want to do. We want to shock people about how busy Mac is. So that was, well, we had a lovely summer, really nice, and there's some nice feedback from everyone from Art again about how busy the town was. And then we also had the 1261 Festival, which was a lovely, very busy day. This year we worked with businesses in town with community funding streams so they could put on their own activities as part of the festival, and that really expanded the programme of what we could offer. It was much bigger this year, and that's definitely something that we want to do again next year because it was such a success, and just really expanded not just the size but the variety of stuff that we could offer, and they came up with things that we wouldn't necessarily be able to do ourselves. The parade was lovely, everyone really got into the summer holiday theme. A special shout out to Elove at the back with the surfboard on the bike. We did yoga in Christchurch and poetry in Sparrow Park, and it was just a lovely day. We put our programme on flipping books this year, which offered like a sort of a slightly fancier version of a PDF, so you could sort of literally flip through it on your touch screen, and that was visited more than 3,000 times. I think more than half of those were on the day, so people would scan the QR code and find out what was happening on the day. So we're looking forward to next year. We just need to lock a date in, but I'm looking forward to that. And there's lots of nice pictures and nice feedback in your report. Heritage Open Day was a lovely day. Really nice. Nice to open the doors of the town hall and let people come in and visit and learn a little bit of history of the building, but also learn a lot about MAC with our volunteer and hobby fairs and the Made in MAC market upstairs. And again, we had other organisations across town doing their Heritage Open Day stuff on the same day. So it meant that, again, we had that festival atmosphere. So you could come to MAC, you could come here, you could go to St Mike's, you could go down to the Silk Museum and tour Paradise Mill for free, go to King Edward Street Chapel, and just like lots of things to do in town. It was a lovely, it's always a nice busy day in here when we do that, and I think our partners noticed the uptick as well. And then looking ahead, planning Christmas. I mean, almost finished planning Christmas. It's almost done and it's not started yet. So that's going to be on the 29th of November. It's going to be a lovely day. Mac Youth Brass Band around the Christmas tree, start things off again. Choose Mac doing the staging and all the music acts and lots of walkabouts, different activities. We've got Twilight Market coming up, Christmas Tree Festival at Christchurch, and we have set the dates next year for Lantern Parade and Luna, which will be the 24th of January for the lanterns and the 14th of Feb for Luna. And then we will have a bit of a rest. But there's also some other things that are coming up next year, which is what we've got proposals for.
Yeah. Just in relation to the 1261, have we had any feedback from the outside suppliers of how the day went for them?
Yeah, the outside contractors, yeah, same, like the Wonder Dome, I think we're quite shocked with how many people wanted to go in. Who else we had? The Babbling Vagabonds were walking around, they had a great day, really fun. Yeah, it's again, it's a nice thing to surprise people with what
What's been some of the local businesses?
Oh,
they
those.
had the crowdfunding from ourselves.
Yes, we got a lovely quote back from Cinta in particular, just saying, again, what a busy day they'd had. They definitely noticed an uptick in sales and in footfall, and they really enjoyed feeling like they were part of it. They liked the inclusive nature of that.
It's almost as if they feel that they're not part of the town all the time.
No, I think that's a more positive spin
Yeah,
on
no,
that.
Again, fantastic. And also, that's not noted in the report that's happened recently was Nature Needs You with an emergency move because of the weather. So once again, thank you very much for your dedicated hard work on that as well to make sure that well-attended event carried on. Any questions or comments, Councillor Livingston?
Thanks. I think 1261 was a great day, so thank you for organising it. I think poetry in the Sparrow Park was quite special. Personally, I think that was my highlight. Just in terms of the date, is it the same bank holiday weekend, or are you thinking about something else?
No, so we whipped around for feedback, and the feeling was, as though it was very nice to do it in some holidays, it did mean that there was less buy-in from the schools.
Yeah.
Because they're all off, and that particularly in terms of the parade, because it's so lovely to have the school children in the parade, and it was quite difficult because obviously the teachers are on holiday, so you can't really get those groups together. So we're now looking at June, sometime in June, which is where it was the year before. But yeah, it's just finding its place.
Any other comments now? Okay, so we've now got 3 proposals to consider for events going on next year. 6.1.1 is Macclesfield in May, so it's consider proposed funding for £4,160. Do you want to say a few?
Yeah, so Mac in May took place the first bank holiday last year, this year, last May gone, and it was for a weekend event. They had live music on the Saturday, and then the Sunday they were showing films and things like that. Was slightly different. They also massively helped to accommodate the football team. Remember that we put the football team on stage, so it all worked really well together. They've come back, they want to do it again. It'll only be a Saturday event this time because that was kind of the best bits that worked. The proposal is in there, which, you know, as a team we would recommend. We think it's a great event for Macclesfield, and you know, the Macclesfield in May, they've got sponsorship from lots of other places in the town, and they're all, the majority volunteers. Well, nobody's being paid for the work apart from the bands and stuff, as you would expect, but the organising of it. So yeah, so any questions you can direct them to me, because the organiser Joe couldn't come tonight, gave her apologies.
Yeah, I mean, I attended both days of the back in May. Both days were good. And it's not a criticism, but the thing that happened on Sunday, the weather wasn't the best, which I think probably puts quite a lot of people off. But I mean, to come back for a one-day event, if that's what the organiser thinks would be beneficial, then so any comments or Councillor Barber?
Yeah, I think I attended the Saturday this year and I thought it was a really great event. I think it's good for us as the town council to be supporting external events as well, helping other local people to deliver for the residents. I think the contribution request is quite reasonable, and obviously with a free bus day coming as well, I think it'll be another great event, so I'd be happy to propose that we approve the contribution request.
Thank you very much, Councillor Livingston.
It's a similar theme, I think. I think the quality of the acts they managed to get to come, given where one was actually quite successful. So I would happily second this.
Thank you very much. Councillor Pennyback.
I'd just like to highlight the 46.5% increase in footfall for that particular week, and I think that shows really good value for money. They've not asked for a lot of money, but the actual increase in footfall is vast regardless of the weather. And whether we all live in Macclesfield, we know we need to wear the right clothes. So put your rain Mac and your wellies on. And that just seems good. There's something for everyone here. And it's good value for money, and I'm really pleased to see how much the footfall's gone up, so hopefully it's just as good next year.
So we've got proposed by Councillor Barber, seconded by Councillor Livingston. I'll turn that to the votes. All those in favour? That's unanimously carried, thank you. Next, 6.1.2, we've got Sow Your Place, and this is to consider a proposal for £2,500. And we've got, I didn't catch your names before, I do apologise.
It's okay, shall I come over here?
Yeah, wherever you feel
Is
comfortable.
that okay? Right, so what I'd like to do is, can I just check, do you have the proposal in front of you, or shall I just read, do you have it there? Would it be better if I just talked through it, I won't read it through, I can just sort of talk through the basics and then you can ask me questions?
Yep.
So, my name's Becca Smith and I run the new Macclesfield School of Art, which is based in the Silk Museum. And the idea for this project is based around the fact that the Veo Tapestry is coming to the British Museum next summer. And within the Silk Museum, there is a piece, the only piece, of the Leek replica Veo Tapestry that was made by Lady Elizabeth Wardle and gifted to Marianne Brocklehurst for West Park Museum. There's been quite a lot of publicity about the Leek replica and how it's housed in Reading Museum. But there wasn't any mention in this particular article in The Guardian about the fact that there is another piece, and it's in Macclesfield. So this proposal is a combination of things. It's based on my experience of delivering community art projects. The concept I'm using the title of Sow Your Place has been really successful in the last 2 years. I've delivered that for Leek Textile Week about a year ago. And for Art Space, I own Art Space in Preston Primary School. That was like a micro version of the project, and children as young as 6 were stitching into a cloth map of their idea of their home, of their school. And that's what this idea is. It's a version of the Veo Tapestry, but it's a map of Macclesfield. And I also delivered this concept at Kew Gardens this year, so there's an exhibition there in the 10-foot house at the moment based on Sow Your Place. So my colleague, Elsa Holm, is over here, and Elsa has brought, do you think we could have a look at some of your bio stitch? So this project is going to be aimed at least 100 participants. That will be at least 100 participants through various workshops. And we're going to be teaching the Bayard stitch, the medieval stitch. Have you got it?
Yes.
Oh yes.
So this is one that I prepared earlier. I should have done loads of copies, sorry. So basically, we want to use the Bayard stitch because A, it's historic and goes with this kind of documentary creation, documentary artefacts. It's also not a difficult stitch, and it also can cover a large area in quite a short time. So it would be, we don't want to just bring in people who are already expert embroiderers and be kind of exclusive. We want to be able to come and say, come along, and within 10 minutes you'll be able to do this stitch and you'll be able to make an addition to the map.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Alice. So we've both been preparing for this. We've both been getting into medieval embroidery and working on the idea of how recognisable and iconic the Bio style is, and also working on this idea of how as many people as possible through different workshops can add. So this is where it can be quite personal. You know, they can add a piece of their own history. They can add a little element of their own life. But there will also be pieces that Elsa and I will prepare based on, for example, Macclesfield receiving the 1261. There was a 9 and a 6 backwards there. The idea for this project is that we will work on it between, well, as soon as possible, and it will be unveiled at the festival next year.
Thank you very much.
And I think that's everything. If there's anyone, please ask some questions. I know I didn't cover everything in the proposal about the logistics, but yes, does anyone have anything they'd like to check? Yeah, sure.
Is there a cost for people to take part?
No, it will be free. So the proposed amounts will be broken down between materials, time, planning, preparation. We have a 3-room hire at the Silk Museum and a minimum, I think we put down £50 for art space. But we'd hope that anyone attending there might give a little bit for donation. So we kept it as minimal as possible. Every workshop would be free to attend for every person to come into that. So we're thinking of some workshops with 20 people in. Definitely thinking about workshops in the evening, at the weekend. Particular groups as well. So I worked with East Cheshire Eye Society and had a strategy working with members of that group. And obviously expanded more to space for autism as well. I have a lot of interest there.
And it's absolutely possible that, I mean, not tiny children, because obviously we give them needles, but
Yeah.
older children could take
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
There was a massive project, I mean, it's probably a lot of years ago now, 20 years ago, that a Quaking tapestry was produced. This was a kind of national project. Edinburgh Edinburgh, there's a museum, it's in Kendal,
Yeah.
Keswick, Kendal.
Yeah.
And they had a thing where they wanted like loads of people to just come and do like at least one stitch, you know, and a lot of it was kids, and so yeah, that's the aim, to make it a really broad attraction, so people could come and maybe bring their kids and join in.
Just with that, would you be looking at potentially approaching some of the schools to invite the pupils?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Certainly high schools.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Got some good connections with various high schools and worked with them before. So there would be school groups, there'd be adult groups. So for example, again, Space for Autism for children and adults as well. And because we'll be going via the Silk Museum and Art Spaces locations, using their contacts as well. I think that judging by other projects that I've done based on this concept, people who would come in with absolutely no intention of picking up a sewing needle, absolutely not, will end up adding a little bit. And that's what's quite different to other kind of art forms, because you can almost see that one stitch you've done. You know, you can actually, it's quite different to sort of like a paintbrush mark, or which is still something you can recognise.
But you're not responsible for the whole thing.
No.
So it's less
Yeah.
terrifying to take part of, because you can do your flower or
Sorry.
building.
Councillor Winston.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, just to say that I think we as a town council do promote art in Macclesfield. I think it's a really important part of what we do. I think it's one of the creative part of the town was much greater and much deeper than I think energy I even thought. And I think that reflects well on the support we give it. And the idea of a map of Macclesfield, particularly given our textile history, is a fantastic one. And the fact that this is hugely inclusive. Yeah, and if I start stitching, you'll find the my stitch because there'll be a bit of blood under them.
That's okay.
But I think that it's a great idea. I think it's very creative, and I think because it's so inclusive, I'd be happily to support and propose it. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask a couple more questions?
Yeah.
How many artists will be involved? Because that's quite a lot of work with different groups.
It will be me, myself and Elsa,
Yeah.
and then some volunteers at the Silk Museum.
Okay, it's just because that's like the artist fee is 10 times the amount of equipment, so it's just how many hours do you think you'd actually put in?
So I've put down, what did I put down for the workshops? Did I put down, let me just check.
It just says workshop.
Oh yeah, 6 times 3 hour design and medieval stitch workshops. 2 times 3 hour sessions by volunteers at the Silk Museum, 1 times 4 hour session at Macclesfield Art Space. And then that will also be myself and Elsa creating some of the kind of points of history that we want as examples. So, for example, the giving of the charter.
The potato riot.
The potato riot, definitely, because everyone loved the potato riot. I don't know if you remember that. And also, we would have Marion Brocklehurst in there, or would have obviously reference to the silk industry. So if you can picture sort of these stitched pieces, but in the style of the Bayeux, because that's the key aim is that it's linking to the Bayeux tapestry as well. And the publicity next year as well on the Bayeux tapestry is going to be huge. So it's definitely picking up on that. We've got this piece in the museum. So,
and we hope to use, I don't know whether you mentioned that in the thing because I can't remember.
Yeah.
From the Silk Museum's dye garden.
Yes.
And to actually dye our own wool.
Yeah.
So there's big connection. So it, yeah.
The replica Bayeux that's in the museum is dyed with the same natural dyes as the original Bayeux. So we're not going to include that in a workshop. I didn't put that down specifically whether that'd be in a workshop.
No,
what I think it would be the stitching
we would do the dyeing in advance.
Yeah. Yeah, so that covers, I think that's everything that would be involved.
I was going to say, how are you going to make sure you finish it on time?
Oh, I'm really good at working to
You'll just finish it.
Oh, well, definitely, yeah. Because one part of it, like when people will be stitching their pieces, and those little pieces, a lot of those pieces will be on separate embroidery hoops. So, in terms of volunteers who are going to be helping us, I've got at least 5 people interested already. One thing that they'll do will be adding that to the map, to the right place. So that will be going on at the same time as the workshop. People will be able to stitch into the piece directly, so there won't be any additional work. And then, but it will be started by us well ahead as soon as we possibly can, with some key dates and a map of Macclesfield that is based on the bare bones, the foundation of Macclesfield. And obviously there's different roads have changed, and those can all be shown. That's why a map is able to show history in a sense of layers rather than anything linear. So the preparation will be done in terms of getting that ready. Then people could come along and add historical elements. Some people might spend, might come back for every session, if they're able to. That's what's happened in the past with these type of projects. Some people go, right, I'm going to take this home, I'm going to finish it at home and bring it back. So there's that element of people being able to do that. And then the workshops, if I wasn't sure when the festival would be held next year. So if it's in June, then we'd need to wrap up workshops in the middle of May, I'd say, to have time to finish anything. And then just prepare it, stretch it over a frame. And I've also put to be confirmed on where it would be exhibited, so if you've got any ideas, where would be the best place to unveil it at the festival? Any ideas? But yeah.
I'm sure linking it with the town hall team,
Right, yeah.
will be able to do that.
Okay.
Councillor Barber?
Yeah, just briefly, I should have replied before, but obviously I am a trustee of the Silk Heritage Trust, so
Great.
I think it's great that we've got this project coming forward. Obviously Silk is such a key part of our town, and to have something, especially for the 1261 parade next year, where we can unveil it and show that to everyone, a piece that's been done with local people, education, etc. I think it's a really positive piece of work, so I'm quite happy to support this as well, Chair.
Thank you. It's very nice.
Are you
Second.
Yeah, I'm happy to second it.
second? Thank you very much. So the proposal from Councillor Livingston, seconded by Councillor Barber. All those in favour of supporting? That's unanimously carried. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing the final.
Yes, I love the way.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Anyway, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to maybe helping out, and definitely see the full back.
All of you come and put some stitches in it.
Councillor Winston said he's been the first one.
You get the ribbons.
And 6.1.3 is Mac Pan. And we have Mark.
I'll come over here as well. Mark as well. Hello, as some of you may know, I'm known as Mark Jackson. I am the festival organiser of MacPow, Maxwell's, dare I say, international car festival. It's been running for 10 years. This was our 10th year, 10th event, and we have grown considerably with the great support of Maxwell Town Council. This year, although we did welcome, football, it's all about, we like to talk about that, record attendance. I think for me, one of the most important things about MacPow is the fact that it's happening here in Macclesfield. The attendance is fantastic, but the fact that it's happening is really, really something to be proud of. And the fact that we're bringing people from all over the world into this town for this event, and for a niche event, comics isn't for everybody. But that's the idea with MacPow, is to show people that, well, you might know comics as this, maybe you know the Beano, maybe you know this, but maybe you didn't realise that there are comics about people who have been incarcerated in ICE prisons earlier this year because they didn't have the right passport when they crossed the border from heading from America into Canada, and a girl who was incarcerated for 19 days in one of those prisons at the start of the year was at MacPow this year talking about that alongside people who worked on who draw me and the mix for the Beano. So things like that are really important, and I think show the rich diversity that we attract families. That was the biggest thing right from the start. You know what Macclesfield's like, if you put something on that's good, people will come to it, but it's keeping them here, and that's why over the years we've grown it to involve lots of workshops, interactive elements, so you don't just come in, do a circle round, and then you go, okay, we're done. We kept people in, and people this year didn't stop coming, which was a real turning point for us. We usually, you might have a little bit of a lull. It didn't seem to happen, and that's fantastic. We had our first queue outside. I knew it was a hit a few years ago when, again, we kind of hope that it's never a given, but the families are going to come because it's in town, and you do all the promotion you can. We go to schools and fly the flag for as much as possible. But it's the people who arrive, the older guys and females who arrive with suitcases of comics, who want them signed by some of the people that we've brought into Macclesfield. And these people aren't just who live in Macclesfield, these are people who live outside of Macclesfield who are coming in because of the creators that we have. We brought our first international creator from America this year, a guy called Tom Shirley, which was an incredible achievement. We did that with additional funding from the local businesses, spearheaded by Mickey Jones, who's become a really big supporter of what we're doing. And so we were able to do that, to bring somebody in who also brought his friend with him, of his own choosing, who spent the entire weekend, and everybody knew these guys because they went everywhere. They went to so many of the local businesses and a few of the chains, but they told me that afterwards. And spent money. We also benefited from the fact that it was on Treacle Market weekend, so a number of our creators who stayed, because we also do 2 days. The main event here at the marketplace upstairs, which we have 2 rooms, we have one down here and one upstairs, and then a full programme of workshops in the Cape Saw room. I can't remember which one is which. One upstairs. Go up there. So we have all those, and then on the second day we do workshops at our studio at Room for Comics, and then a number of people stay over, so they stay in the local businesses. Sleepy Repeat on Church Street is very supportive of what we do. And so they got a chance to experience the Treacle Market as well, which was a fantastic add-on. And so we worked with those guys to make sure that we could step on any toes. We did our bit, and we worked kind of together. And I'm really proud of what we've achieved. And we're bringing in people as visitors from out of town. Up for the second year running, a lady called Barbara, wonderful Barbara, who gets on a plane in Switzerland and comes to MacPow for MacPow. She spends the whole weekend. Her husband had to keep sending her messages because he kept getting alerts on his credit card because she was spending so much money. And this is incredible that we can do that here in Macclesfield. And we are recognised amongst the two other big comic art festivals in this country, the Late International Comic Art Festival that takes place in Bowness and Thorpe Ball, which takes place in Harrogate. And both directors of both of those events have mentioned MacPow in the same breath as their events, and that means a great deal. So I would love to continue working with you guys. Our additional funding this year goes to topping us up. I appreciate that the money that is spent on hiring the rooms is required, but I want to use our grant as much as possible to invest in creators, and that's what we've been able to do these past few years. Workshops that have been put on, we can pay you to do that, we can pay you more this year. We also launched last year, and then carried on this year, a brand new comic for children that's published here in Macclesfield, that includes creators locally and also internationally. And we've been working with Artspace, hence the sound effects. So we want to fill the town with sound effects next year. The plan is to work with them more, just to add more colour to the town. And obviously we've been working with a number of the local businesses who will report excellent additional attendance and money spent in their businesses due to MacPow. So yeah, I can talk about this forever. Please stop me if you want.
Thank you very much. Something I didn't mention is we are to consider proposal for funding for £5,000 for this event. Any questions to Mark? No? I take that as we know the festival, we know what it's about.
Just a comment rather than, I have to say, I wouldn't say I was into comics, but my niece couldn't come, I think it was not last year, the year before, and she was like, oh, such and such an author's there, and so I bought some Christmas presents, and I really liked the Roy Lichtenstein, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like
Fantastic.
that. Just need some dots on it.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of the 60s Batman. That's
Yeah, I was thinking of Batman,
Adam
but
West,
then you've got Roy
we always
Lichtenstein
represent
as
Adam
well.
West.
Sorry, we're getting all arty over here, but yeah. It's, you know, you might think it's not your thing, but actually I still went in and bought stuff for family and friends, and you know, there was a group from Liverpool who've done some stuff.
Yes, the
a
Comics
group
Youth.
for the for the gay community, and I think the Mac Pride shop was open at the time, and there was a lot of thoroughfare between both venues, but there was, I think, I keep using this word, it's overused, I'll have to think of a different word for quirky, you'll have to get me thesaurus out. But you know, it's that quirkiness that is Macclesfield that attracts quirky people, and quirky is good, so come to Macclesfield, there's something for everyone.
And it's worth noting that it's not, it used to be quite a male-dominated industry, and it really isn't anymore, and we reflect that. In fact, I'm always very conscious of female creators and making sure that we have more female creators, because it can be still a little bit of an all-boys club to a certain extent, so I'm very conscious of it not being that, and I think it's important to be able to do that in a smaller event, is rather than just doing the usual, the easy option. That's why it's 100% focused on comics and art, which is Macclesfield's biggest thing. You know, art and creative, no matter how where it ends up is irrelevant. It's the fact that it's been done. I think that's the most important thing.
Councillor Livingston.
Yeah, just to say to Councillor Beverley, I think quirky is a great word for us. I think it works, because I think that makes it more interesting. No, I think MacPow has grown strength to strength, and it's got an international recognition, so you can see how busy it is when people come. And I think that thing about it's becoming less male dominated, which I think is really important as well, and it's involving younger people.
Yes.
If it encourages younger people into art, it's a fantastic thing as well. So I'm going to go for 3-3 and propose this as well.
Thank you very much, Councillor Livingston. Do we have a second there?
I'll second it because it helps, it encourages young children to read as well.
It does.
Good. Councillor Beverley. So all those in favour of the funding?
Thank you very much.
I do really look forward to seeing
Yes.
the fruition of MacPow 26.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
If you'd like to stay for the rest of the meeting, you're more than welcome. If not, you're more than welcome to anything.
Very well, thank you.
Okay, so moving on to item 6.2, floral displays.
So the floral displays will be changed soon for the winter, hopefully. Displays, the barriers and the hanging baskets will come down, barriers will change to winter bedding, and obviously with the new core 10 planting, that's full of sustainables. So it should be just the barrier plants, which I have to say are still doing really well. They're sort of looking very nice, but they'll change within, I think, the next 2 weeks. The contract's out for tender. Clarification questions is up till tomorrow, I believe. We've had some interest, so we've got the panel all set, the questions, etc. So at the moment, ANZA have the contract, or Cheshire East Environmental. What do we call them? Old ANZA, is it Cheshire East Environmental? Cheshire East have the contract, but it's just differentiating. Old ANZA. And it finishes in November, but that includes the winter bedding. So it lasts us, so even though it finishes technically in November, that lasts us till sort of the summer bedding time, which is March, April. So that's when the new contract will start. So fingers crossed we'll get potentially, something exciting with all the interest we've got that may elevate us to that next level of the nationals. So, I would say if anybody's thinking of applying, who is watching this, or going to the tender, we would also be prepared to look at separating bits. If a local business wanted to just do the hanging baskets and that's all they had the capability to do, we wouldn't negate that. They would be out because they couldn't do it all, because we'd be supportive of that. So yeah.
Good. Thank you very much. Again, there's been lots of positive feedback for the floral displays, so
Yes.
hopefully we can look forward to seeing what happens in the new year. Any comments or questions? No? Okay. Item 6.3, festoons.
So the festoons that were installed as part of the Shared Prosperity Fund, so they were installed by Cheshire East Council. They're the ones on Chestergate, this end of Chestergate. They've still not been formally handed over to us, but there has been we've had a few emails going back and forth from people saying, oh, how come they're not on, they're not working. Well, it does say in the report, just to note that they're not like the others, they're not on timers, they switch on at dusk. So obviously this time of year they're going to be on more.
Yeah.
But if anyone spots them off when it's dark, then we know there's an issue. But technically at the moment they're still belong to Cheshire East Council, they've not been handed over to us.
Just a question, the festoons at the bottom end of Chester.
Yes.
They're off, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Abby mentioned it tonight, so I'll take that up tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's an ongoing issue with some of the electrics there
Yes.
that we might have to do a little bit more work to rectify.
Yeah, I think we were made aware of
Yeah.
one previous meeting or a couple of meetings that
Yes.
there's been some issues.
Yeah, and we've had issues around, so there's been a couple of there's one dangerous tree with the dangerous branches on it, so we've had to remove the lights from that, off those branches at Park Green, and then there's a couple of trees in Marketplace that may need to be removed because of emergency works. So there's gonna be some movement with lights, but I'll keep everybody up to date and informed.
Thank you. Any comments or questions now? Thank you. 6.4, Christmas lights.
So it's been a really difficult few months trying to sort out the issues. So we had a really scary week a few months ago where we thought we might not have any Christmas lights. So there's been a change of the electricity supply due to the new lights that were installed as part of the Shared Prosperity Fund by Cheshire East Council. So thankfully, highways and street lighting have been really helpful, and we've worked together and we've come to a point where I'm hoping to say everything's going to be okay. I'm not going to say definitely, because until they've been completely tested, then we never quite know. But at the minute, it's looking very good. And I have said this in the report, but the lights are going to have to go up earlier this year obviously, usually we try and wait till after Remembrance, but we're not going to be able to do that this year because we need time to work through the issues. So it's probably going to be the end of October. They won't be on, but they will be up.
Obviously, I was on the panel choosing the Christmas lights, and from what I remember, I'm very much looking forward to the display that's going to be around town. Should be a nice warming effect that we should be looking at come Christmas light switch on. Any comments or questions? No. I just want to. Sorry.
Do you want me to go? Just to say, the amount of work and chasing that Helena has had to put in to making sure that if we hadn't, there wouldn't be any lights. So, and I will agree, when we get the right people at highways, they are dead helpful. But getting to that stage has been, you know, difficult, and just to say, you know, we wouldn't have had any lights if we'd have just been sending emails. It's been continual pushing, constant meeting. Yeah.
No, I was just wanting to say thank you for the hard work that you've done. I'm sure that when you see the lights on, you'll have a warm glow.
You'll sleep.
So agenda item 7, leisure and outdoor activities. We'll go 7.1, parks and play areas.
So the most recent one I've had an update for is we were doing the Tiverington, the tube. So Sandwich Drive is finished. Holcombe Park should start this week, and the councils there, they're aware of that, got their eye on it, so they'll know if there's any issues. West Park, the showstopper that we've funded, the planning permission is in. Expected delivery is January. For that to be sort of planning, bought and on site, so New Year it should be all happening. And then the South Park, which we're procuring, they've started procurement for the South Park little play area for the little children. So when that is all done and they've got all the feedback in, that will go to the Central Ward councillors, potentially the South as well, just because it's you call it all around that park, to have a look at and sort of informally give their feedback on to choose. And then that will be another New Year project, which should all be in place for when the weather starts getting better next year. So that's where we're up to with all the parks. And I've asked them to, historically we've done sort of in order of who had what, sort of which ward. I've asked them to give us their list of what they see the priorities of Macclesfield are.
Cheshire East Council.
Yeah. So I've asked them to say, you know, what, based on what kind of they think needs to be done sort of urgently and what would make the park a better place, plus to look at what Section 106 money they've got and other funding, because it might be better to add to something that's happening. Doesn't mean we have to follow it, but it gives us councils a really good idea of what they think is coming up over the next 2-3 years, and we could even with our budget decide to sort of do a 2 or 3 year plan rather than year to year, see what's going on, to see how we fund it. And then, because at the moment we're getting ahead of it, but in the past we've been behind. We've been deciding in May for that year, which means we've been behind the curve. We're trying to get ahead of it. So hopefully you'll have all that for March full council.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions? No. 7.2, South Park Pavilion. I don't know if it's to Councillor Wilson or...
Basically everything that was said at full council still stands. We're still reviewing the building itself, looking at reducing the costs. We've recently had some more work done in terms of the actual, because people will probably have seen there's been some boring of holes in South Park to look at the foundations again. So that's been happening this week. I've had quite a few people going, oh, is something going to start? So that's just looking again at reducing costs, etc. And we're still waiting for a licence to work in lease, unfortunately. Some Cheshire East, but I think we're getting closer. So I'm keeping on it.
Is the light at the end of that tunnel getting any bigger, or is it staying?
I think it's getting a little bit closer, because it's when you actually manage to speak to the right people. So I'm more hopeful than I was. And it's, you know, at the moment, it's imperative because there is certain timescales that if we don't adhere to, the project just won't be able to go ahead. So, and the longer we wait, the more the costs go up. So it's, you know,
Yeah, just to add to that, they've been doing some drilling so we can do a soil samples to assess the length of the foundations. So one of the things is the building should be lighter, so hopefully the foundations won't be as long. It will remove some risk from the whole thing. So we've got a meeting on Friday with the design team, and hopefully we'll also get some largesse from the planning part of Cheshire East. We don't require us to put a full plan application in, and we should, by the next council meeting in December, have an update. But it's heading in the right place. Would be my hopeful position on this.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? No? I'm scared. Cemetery playing out.
Yeah, so it went ahead on the 8th of August in partnership with Create and also Community Sports Trust this time. They got involved, they came down, did some games with kids. It was really well attended. It was lovely to see people interacting with each other, parents and children. So it was a good afternoon. We did have to this time use a traffic management company because the instruction of Martin's Law, which requires you to do certain things and take extra safety measures in terms of events, meant that we needed vehicles to barrier off the road, and quite rightly, it just makes it safer for the kids. So that did come at a cost, so that's worth bearing in mind for the future. If we decide to go ahead with playing out again, there is obviously a cost involved, so it's just something to bear in mind.
Thank you very much. Well, hopefully all the people that participated had a fantastic day. And again, if there are any other areas in any wards that are potentially thinking about, I think Councillor Wilson and Councillor Hale were in charge of there. So maybe we're just having a chat with them and see what's
Can I just ask a question about the traffic management company? Does it have to be a traffic management company, or could the local police put a vehicle across the road? Because we did an event, it wasn't a playing out event, it was another event, and the police just went and parked the van at the end of the road.
Potentially.
Because
yeah.
they were part of the,
Yeah, I mean, we did ask the police to be involved. I think a PCSO did come down.
yeah.
So I suppose it would have to be a conversation that was started earlier to see if they were prepared. But yes, maybe.
Thank you.
Any other comments? No. So 7.4 allotments.
Yeah, just we've had a lot to do with trees lately. So we've had some tree work done, and also on our Burtons Road site, which we own but we don't manage. There is a tree which has a tree preservation order on it, which is going to need some work on it. So we're working with some of the tree officers at Cheshire East Council, and the lady there, Ruth, has been really helpful. She's been brilliant. So she's going to walk us through that process because we've not done it before. We're going to have to apply for planning permission to take some branches off the tree to reduce the size. So quite exciting because we've not done it before. So.
Fantastic. Any comments? So 7.5 street sports.
Yeah, it's just as you can see by the numbers, Thursdays is so popular. It's going to be moving to its winter timetable in October, well, the end of this month, which will be, I think it's a Tuesday and a Thursday, off the top of my head, they're the 2 days, and they'll both be at Lifestyle Fitness. It just means it protects, we were worried about the children going home afterwards because it's very dark. This is a really well-lit area, they tend to get picked up. And it works, and obviously we can't take that Thursday session away because they just love it. So yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. So the numbers are encouraging. Hopefully next year the numbers continue in the same way. Fingers crossed, and obviously hopefully the winter months are just as good as popular. Any other comments? No, thank you. So 7.6 park fit.
So it's currently paused.
Yep.
So we've been reviewing, we did a survey, and we've been reviewing the feedback from that, which has helped inform which way we're going to take it. But people want it to continue all year round, because we did look at maybe, is it just a summer thing, but people want it to continue. So we're going to focus on getting the right person. So we're looking at maybe holding some practice sessions, like interviews, I guess. So we'll bring people in for a chat, but then we'll ask them to do a practical session, just see how they interact, because we feel like that's important to get the right person to continue the next phase of Park Fit. But that will be, hopefully we'll launch that in the spring. So yeah, there's work going on behind the scenes, but we'll keep everybody updated on that.
Just one question, I suspect it would be down to the PT, but would you be looking at the same time and date as?
Yeah, I think the survey came back that people wanted to stick with the same sort of time, because we did ask people if they wanted to do mornings, but the most popular answer was stick with what we're doing. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. I can see Councillor Winston's dead excited that it's returning now.
Happy to be involved in the trials.
Any other comments, questions? No? Okay, 7.7 fitness for the future.
Yeah, so it still continues to go well. The numbers are steady. So yeah, it's going well.
Any feedback from Community Sports Trust?
I haven't had any feedback in terms of anecdotal information other than the figures, but I can ask for some.
Yeah, I mean, obviously just to see how they see it going. Brilliant. Any other comments? Yeah. Item 7.8, summer schools.
So yeah, summer schools this year, the town council funded places for 61 children, which is brilliant really, that the town council was able to do that. So referrals, we had a lot of referrals from social services this year, so the message was getting out to the social workers that we do this, that we provide this opportunity, but also there was a lot from schools too, so yeah, it's just a really great thing, and it was a mix of multi-sports, arts, crafts, dance, so we tried to provide an array of activities.
Am I right in thinking that previously it's just been kind of sports, but obviously now we're looking at silk dance who come on board,
This
just
is
to
the second
broaden
year.
trying to think of the word I'm trying to find, the appeal to youngsters.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Any comments or questions? No? Okay. So moving on to item 8, street scene. We've got item 8.1, public realm.
So, main update from Public Realm is, as Helena previously alluded to, Macon Fort has put in new planters, benches, bins, festoons, and they had capital spend from UK SPF, Cheshire East did. We as a council agreed to maintain them. They have not given a formal agreement for you to sign, therefore we haven't formally taken them, which is why when the festoons break, we, you know, I wouldn't even know where to start, because I don't even know who their contract manager is for them, things like that. So I have asked for them, not only a legal agreement, but all the purchase orders, guarantees, everything you would expect that come with the equipment, because those benches actually have lights underneath, so there's schematics, etc. We need all the information to be able to take them on, put them on our asset register. So that is the aim. it has not yet happened. We put the watering of the plants on, even though technically they're not our planters, because it's good for the town and it's something we can do without, you know, without sort of it being too difficult a thing. So that's why the watering's on the tender. So at the moment, they are still the responsibility of Cheshire East Council. So we're just waiting for that formal agreement. But in terms of public realm, it's mainly the flowers at the moment. Helen is still looking to get a mural on the side of O2. And there is also, Cheshire East have put out, they've put procuring out for the artwork at the side of the indoor market that faces, well, the outside, the exterior that faces the petrol station. So they've had a significant amount of applicants, which myself and Councillor Wilson are on the panel to choose some excellent applicants, some really beautiful artwork go on the side of that, so which would significantly cheer up that area. And also we will have a Christmas trail to add to a new one. We'll have a Christmas with the windows trail that we do for Halloween and for Christmas, but we've also got an installation Christmas trail that can't let anyone know about yet, but that will be a sort of in the public realm, things you can have your pictures taken next to and look exciting. So yeah, and just generally trying to clear up the town, and you know, rangers are going around jet washing bits and pieces, cleaning up benches, that kind of thing, cleaning up notice boards. So yeah.
Sounds exciting.
Yes.
Whenever you're able to
Yes. Oh, that. Yes. Yes.
spill the beans.
Yes.
Any comments or questions? No. Cheeky little grin on your face. I can't see.
I'm not spilling any beans tonight.
Are you privy to some information possibly?
No.
No. Sorry, item 8.2 is Town Ranger.
Yes, so as Laura said, the Rangers have been helping jet washing at different little pockets in the town, getting things ready for winter. Yeah, they're just working hard like they always do. We've had quite a lot of requests via email from members of the public, so that suddenly there's been a surge of requests and people ringing up, which we don't usually get. It tends to be on Facebook. So they've been really responsive to those and going out and checking and then taking the action where it's needed. And they've also been supporting the events, moving the equipment around, and the allotments as well. They do a lot of work on those. They do the inspections with me, and the tree work that we've recently had to have done, they've been supporting me with that as well, with their knowledge and skills. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Obviously, with the Rangers, normally you think it's during the summer, but obviously the hard graft comes in the winter. So again, if you'd just like to pass on our thanks to the team for the hard work that they are doing and continue to do. Any other comments or questions? No. Okay, thank you. Item 8.3, the 01625 gallery.
Yes, so there's an exhibition in there currently that runs until November, which is themed around what we do to keep well and our flow state, so our ideal things that we enjoy to do. It's really interesting, so if people get a chance to have a look, it's worth looking at. And then after that there'll be an exhibition from the Dead Good CIC, which is a group which try and focus on breaking down the barriers surrounding death and grief. And we did say to them we want it to just be done in a sensitive way that's accessible for all the family, all age groups, and they've put a lot of thought into it. So I'm really intrigued to see the next exhibition. I think it's an important topic. So yeah, in November.
No, thank you very much. I think death does touch everybody, and trying to find ways to cope can be difficult. So if this can help even a few people through the difficult time that they're going through, hopefully it'll have a positive effect. Any other comments? No. 8.4, 4 is the museum on the street.
So you've probably seen the 2 boards that we've managed to get up in town, which have been really well received by residents, which is great. It's been mainly, well, it's been all positive as far as I've seen, so which is really good. And it also gives us the other side where we can really get into putting up about our events, and that will be very useful when we move, because we need to still put the agenda somewhere in a public place, which probably won't be here. So we'll be having those is necessary, statutory for us as well. There are other boards that go with this, but they're not like that. So there is the light boxes down at the museum we will take over, and they've got lots of history around Park Green and what used to be there. The Rangers are also going to spruce that little area up because it just needs some TLC. Then what we did was, because we knew notice boards are really hard to get in, we commandeered ones that were already there. So there will be some boards that are already around, things like there's some on Churchill Way car park that are quite old, as in information old. So we'll be taking over them and putting some more museum in the street boards up. We just have one that we had permissions and now don't have permissions for, it's changed. So we're trying to get that one because that's in quite a prominent area that really needs, it doesn't look nice. So to have a lovely new notice board would look lovely. So but that, I'm hoping over the, probably, it's difficult now because we're getting into Christmas period and we've got other stuff coming up, and we don't want to go, here's museum in the street, here's this trail, here's our Christmas events. It might be better to just let this one come in New Year when we can really concentrate on marketing it and everything. But with this will come in another trail and maps, downloadable sheets for kids to fill in and spot, and other kids, older kids, to do history and certificates. And there, very excitingly, there is 50 goodie bags for the first 50 people to finish it. You know, we've got influencers coming from outside of town so that, you know, people can come and see what Macclesfield has to offer for free, basically. So there will be more. So yes, we're excited. I'm just so pleased with the ones that have gone up. I think they look really classy and quirky and in keeping with the town. So yeah, more to come from that project.
Whilst it's disappointing that they're all not up in one go, I've seen the 2 that are up at the minute and they do look fantastic, and it gives more of an insight into certain parts of the town that you weren't aware of. I mean, one thing that I noticed was the lavatory in the town hall that was reserved for
the Queen.
The Queen when she was princess. Looking forward to the remaining balls going up, to know a bit more. So, yes, any other comments or questions? No? Okay, so moving on, agenda item 9 is the town centre regeneration, and start with 9.1, town centre Wi-Fi data.
Thank you. Yeah, as you can see from the Wi-Fi data, it has never been lower. Approximately 10,000 people connected to the Wi-Fi in September 2025 compared to over 16,000 in September 2024, and those numbers have continually dropped throughout the year. Again, it's nothing that we're doing wrong, or it's not that the connection doesn't work, or that people don't know about it. It's more that people have just got the data inbuilt in their phone packages now. So we still, there are posters up around town and we still continue to promote it, but I just don't think people actually are using it as much as they used to.
Just as a question, is it something that we'll be continuing with, or is that conversations that we need to...
We did look at it about a year ago, and numbers at that point had were still quite decent, and had sort of plateaued and were being quite consistent. But I think now that they've gone down again, that we might want to relook at that.
I mean, I don't know how councillors think, but I still think that's 10,000 people using Wi-Fi. If I went to a town, I would expect them to be providing Wi-Fi. So even though the numbers are coming down, I think it's right that it's because people have inbuilt 4G, etc. themselves. But I think it's still something I would expect if I visited another town. So it's something, if councillors have a view on, please feed into us. I think if it was getting to be half of that, I don't know, it's difficult because even then that's a lot of people. You know, and things like, when you've got things like you have to log on for job centres, for universal credit, for all those kind of things, if that's 10,000 people you're helping with that, that's, you know, or 10,000 people that are downloading the 1261. And it's going down, but I still think it's worth it. That's, if councils want to feed into that, absolutely.
Councillor Benedict?
You do get more data for your money now, but I think if you're thinking about inclusivity and people not having access to the internet, it is an opportunity for people to connect. I mean, you go into a coffee shop, you expect to connect. So, you know, it is available if people do come into town to you know, connect to the town centre Wi-Fi. So it's about maybe those people who don't have that really good data package to use, or maybe advertising with like at the job centre, or you know, citizens advice and so on. But it's about that inclusivity that I think is, I quite agree with you, it's important.
Just going on that, is that something we could work with the CEB and the job centres to advertise the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, we can make sure they're aware of it, absolutely, yeah. I think, yeah, absolutely, no problem.
Fantastic point there, thank you very much, Councillor Benedict. Any other comments or questions? No. So 9.2, town centre signage. Still on the agenda.
Yep. My archway is still ongoing. But at another point, as the town clerk has said, the museum and street boards are starting to go up. So we're just taking that as the positive, and then we'll move swiftly on.
Quite brief, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any comments, or are you quite happy with that? 9.3 is town centre regeneration working group.
The main update is that we've met with the bid, with Mac Means Business. So just for clarity, the town council gave a grant to Mac Means Business to then carry out a feasibility study for a business improvement district. So Macclesfield Town Council are the funders of it. They are not going to be contracting and carrying it out. But obviously with the vested interest, we have met with them, and we will be meeting with the company that is going to carry out the feasibility study with Mac Means Business, and then hopefully that will all get going. I would think it's probably a new year thing now, but we'll be meeting with them, which Mac Means Business will be updating everybody about when they have, and then speaking to as many businesses, or giving as much opportunity for businesses to feed in, is probably a best way to put it. Because a feasibility study doesn't mean that they can speak to every single business in the town centre. It means there will be opportunity to feed your views in, so that we can, you know, look, is a business improvement district going to work in Macclesfield? Are people interested? Are they going to vote for it? What sort of things do they want to do? That's all the next step.
Just to clarify that it's not something that we are definitely going ahead with.
The process is you would do a feasibility study that will come back, yes, it's feasible, no, it's not feasible, or it could be feasible. The next step is to fill an application in. There is a cost to filling that application in, it takes time. And from other councils, I understand that the cost of that application can be £50,000 to £60,000. And with that comes a ballot. So Cheshire East Council have to run a ballot to see if everybody wants this or not. So it's a big process. This is the very first steps to see I know that when the council gave the funding, I got quite a lot of emails about, oh, you know, we don't want this, or we think this, or we think that. We're at the very first step of the whole thing. If the feasibility study, you know, we just wait to see what comes back with that before any more decisions are made. So
Yeah, just, I think the team backing this business will be a fair amount of support in the feasibility study. It's that ability that we've got to connect with businesses and make it clear why we would actually we think it's worthwhile pursuing this. It is a feasibility study. It will make a full decision in terms of committing that funding to get to a full bid. But part of it, I think, the way that Clark set this up is that we're involved in shaping this, which I think is important. So we've got to sit at the table. We can help shape this so that it actually matches what we think the town needs and what the businesses in the town need. I think that's probably important to remember.
Any other comments? Sorry,
It's just a thought. I'm wondering if, with the onset of devolution, would there be any sources of funding coming from that would, because I know there's other devolved authorities they've got the bid in their areas. I don't know if that is an opportunity, you know, for businesses to tap into further funding then. I don't know the answer to that. I'm just throwing it out there.
because when the UK SBF funding came out, some parish councils and town councils got funding for bids through that, but we weren't at that stage yet to be able to do that. So it might, any kind of funding, I'm quite happy to put in applications for, because a lot of the time it will come down to a town and parish council. We will be asked if this goes further to do this. So, you know, any funding we can get to secure that, absolutely. But that's where, you know, if there's another round of UK SDF or something similar, that's something that we would probably look to put in if the feasibility study was favourable.
And I think what people need to recognise is it's a feasibility study, so we don't know yet.
No.
We're not saying for or against, we're just saying what if.
Yes.
And that's an important question.
Because quite a lot of the emails I got were like, why didn't you just do what Altrincham did? And it was like, well, part of that was they got a bid.
Yeah.
You know, so it's that understanding of it is complex, it is confusing. You know, there is a very long process to it, but like you say, it could be something really great for the town. It could, but you know, the businesses who potentially will be levy payers are the ones that get to vote, you know, because they will be the ones having to pay the extra. So.
Thank you. Any more comments or questions on that? Thank you. Item number 4 is community transport.
Do you want me to go? Yeah. So obviously we've got the figures on the report. Thank you to the Comboss and the town clerk for all the work that you do on the free bus day scheme. I think the figures that we've got show the massive impact that it's having. By my calculations, across all the events that we've got on that report, it was around a 57% collective average of an uplift, which, considering the figures we've got, I think it's fantastic that as a town council we've stepped in, we've done our bit to be innovative, because this isn't something a town council usually does. I recently had some conversations with another town councillor from a different authority who was saying to me that they want to do it there. So we are being seen across the country as being the town council that's actually leading the way on an area that usually they wouldn't do. So I'm delighted that we've obviously approved previously at a meeting to expand the scheme next year with some more external events as well, helping Mac in May, Mac Pride and Mac Powell to get more people in. And I think buses are a key form of public transport, and one of the main things that we do is not just help people to get to and from our events, but to also promote the buses, which is why Catch the Bus Month last month I know the comms officer did a lot of work with the big foam hands, and I saw that the bus driver that received them was very excited to be the figurehead on Facebook. So that was a good bit of outreach work that we did. And you know, buses are the best way of alleviating the parking concerns that many people have, getting people connected on public transport and helping the environment. So as a town council, I think it's fair to say the free bus days are a really key part of what we do, and always just thank you to the Ofsted team for delivering them, because I think it's great that we've continued them and the figures continue to be so positive.
Thank you. Just, I mean, obviously I think you saw the same comment that I did on one of the Facebook sites about the bus driver not knowing about the free bus days. Just wondering, can we not work with the bus providers and maybe have some posters ready for to put up to say that today's a free bus day?
Again, we try very hard with this, and these are the only provider we can work with. That day, we have they were as a provider, they apologised, and I think they were embarrassed. We know it was one particular driver, he didn't know, or something had gone wrong that day. But whilst that happens, it affects the trust people have in buses overall, the trust people have in us. So we've made that very clear. There is so many things in place to make sure, including Abby having something on her calendar to remind them, you know, at the end of the day, we're paying somebody for this service, so make that clear. We only pay for the service, we don't run the buses. Yes, it's a hiccup, it's difficult, we have to regain people's trust back. We have refunded everybody who came forward that day with a ticket. Everybody who contacted me, everybody on Facebook, we sent them a private message saying, if you bring your ticket in, we will refund it. We refunded them, and then we took that off the bill for the provider, for D&G. We think there was only, by the time we looked at it, there was only something like 15 people that paid. But 15 people on Facebook can sound like 50,000. So yes, it was a blip. Yes, we had our concerns, and yes, we feel we've been listened to, and we'll be keeping an eye on it. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
All being well going forward.
Yes.
Hoping for a smoother
Hopefully, yes. Yes.
Any other comments or questions, Councillor Benedict?
Does it then, following a free bus service day for a town council activity, does the bus use go up then? Do we have any statistics on that?
I would love to know this, and this is something, to get what we've got, we've had to push. I think the next step is to push for them to analyse and see if behaviour has changed, because there, again, this is where they themselves can sell their own service to others to see if this has changed. Two different councils in Cheshire East have come to me saying they want to do it and how we found it and who to contact. So this is something that could be really quite good for the bus services to get extra funding in. So I absolutely agree with you. I would absolutely, if it was my figures, I'd be checking them every day and analysing everything out of them. It's something that Abby and I want, and I think we've got them to this stage where we've got them to sign an SLA. We're actually getting some figures. It's to get them to the next stage, or even provide us with the raw data and we can look at it. I think anecdotally, yes, I think people will be more inclined to get a bus. So if you think of some of the reasons that people don't get a bus is they don't know how to pay, they don't know how, you know, when it's free, I can just jump on and off, so, you know, that kind of thing. So absolutely we want that data,
Also,
and we're pushing for it.
Just like to point out that Cheshire East actually own the data
Yeah.
because they commission the bus service. So we had to get permission to get these figures. So we literally get the basics. And I mean, as you can see from the report, we've had to put figures unknown in some of the columns because they will literally just tell us what the percentage increase is, because they don't want everybody knowing what the actual figures are.
I mean, there is GDPR, but
Yeah.
well,
I think
we
it's
can look
more-
into that, can't we?
Yeah, I think
Um,
it's like, you know, sensitivity amongst other
Yeah.
bus providers.
Well, yeah, but it's still in general about how people are using the bus service and active travel. And, you know, we've got the £12 silk, what's it called? Silk ride or silk bus pass.
Yeah.
You've got is it £1 for students, James? Yeah. And Sunday service now as well. You can get the 10 all the way from Bollington to the Western on a Sunday now as well, which is marvellous. But it's like, I didn't know you could pay on your card on a bus. I was ruffling around for change, but you can actually pay on your card now. I mean, if you go to somewhere like Greater Manchester or Liverpool, you can plug your phone in and everything. So, you know, we're getting there. We're getting a Sunday service, which means people can go out and spend time with the family, which is a question I've always been asked by residents, you know, particularly older residents who want to go around for dinner with their children or whatever. That's really important. But if we could just share that data, even if it was done informally, that yes, it's risen by this percentage, that doesn't have to be specific business related or bids on who's going to run the bus service, which I'm not going to get onto, which nationalised or privatised or run by the council. But, you know, we've got the potential there, and I'll mention devolution again. With devolution, you know, we've got James's expertise, having worked for transport and so on, that we know about buses. We do buses good, and people are looking at Macclesfield Town Council as a forerunner for this. But it does, we get the bus more, you know, our household, we get the bus more. We say to people, look at the bus.
Yeah.
You know, leave the car at home, walk, get the bus. It's great, it's cheap. And you can chat to people.
Councillor Barlow.
Two things. So, I have had anecdotal feedback from Cheshire East following one of the Enhanced Bus Partnership meetings that the data they have, even though they wouldn't share it with me, suggests that within Macclesfield specifically there has been an uplift since we started the free bus days. So that was positive, but I haven't been given the data, which is frustrating, but different story entirely. And I think a lot of the things we said here show that as a town council we can act as a really good critical friend to the bus operator. They don't always get things right. I think we saw with the example of the tickets that people had to pay for. You know, there are sometimes those issues, those hiccups, and as a town council we can help them. And I think sometimes bus operators might not think we're there to help, but we are. And we are able to feed in the Facebook comments that they get and just help them to improve their general services. So it is an area that town councils don't usually take, but it's one that we've been quite proactive on and act as that critical friend. And I think it'll be really important moving forward, especially as we head towards devolution, that we can help shape the bus services to be better for Macclesfield and its residents.
Any other comments? No. Okay, thank you. Final agenda items, item 10, council identity and communications.
Thank you, Chair. So, social media, sort of, it's standard, I think, that every report that I present roughly every quarter, we have a 4% increase across our platforms, and I think it's been that way for a number of years now. We did have someone contact us to ask why we aren't using our Blue Sky account. So Blue Sky came about once everyone decided to desert Twitter. At the time, there were not many of our contemporaries on there. So the people that we would follow, such as the Silk Museum or the Grosvenor Centre or Macclesfield Library or some of the businesses that we work with. So it doesn't seem to have sort of grown in that popularity in the same way that Twitter was in the past, but I will schedule some time in October to get to grips with it and see if we can increase our followers on that platform. LinkedIn continues to increase, and the town clerk and myself are posting about bus days, etc. Our floral tender has also gone out on LinkedIn. as well. Meta have once again changed the data and how they give it. Every time I log on to the dashboard, it's different. But views in the last 28 days, when I wrote this report, our posts had around 233,000 views. We'd have 4,000 unique visits to the Facebook page, interactions 1.9 thousand, and engagements, that's people liking, sharing, commenting, 8.3 thousand. Some of our top posts were the opening, meeting Lynn, the manager of the New Space for Autism charity shop on Chestergate. I don't know what that one was, I meant to make a note of it. Catch the Bus Month and floral arrangements in town, and we sort of gave people a little bit of a vote on which ones they like best. So those were getting sort of in the region of anywhere from 25 to 6,000 views. Mayor of Macclesfield Facebook page continues to be popular, and the mayor has been putting things on there. So today she shared her wreath making, and she's currently got 836 followers. The summer Mac update was given out at all of our Do Something summer events, plus 1261 and Heritage Open Day. There are also copies in the library and various other places around town. The next copy of the Mac update should be out before our Christmas events start. And then in terms of sort of other marketing, we've always said that we try not to just do social media. So we've had leaflets with the Do Something summer events sent to all primary school aged children. They went as paper versions, or if the school doesn't like to send out paper versions, they had an email. Emails went to all secondary schools to ask their students to complete the town centre consultation, because we wanted to get a bigger representation of young people. Comms have been sent out to the local press with regards to all of our events. We did comms with Parkfit users, we did surveys, we did paper copies and online versions, and then sort of similar throughout autumn. And then we're also exploring a few different things at the moment. This is Macclesfield, and Lula Loves are working on a bit of a call to arms with regards to shopping in Macclesfield. So we're just sort of sitting in on that and seeing how we can get involved. And then we have our new project that the town clerk sort of alluded to earlier, and we will be harnessing all advertising channels that we can. So that will include local radio, it will include Northwest Regional Radio, not just Macclesfield, it will include paper copies of newspapers, not just in Macclesfield, but in Manchester and Stockport, and it will include lots of other stuff as well. So we're really branching out and trying to reach a bigger market.
Thank you very much. Just a question, the email newsletter, is that growing?
Yes, sorry, I was supposed to include numbers and I haven't done that. I do apologise, Chair, and we'll make sure that is in the next report. But yeah, we still get people signing up to our newsletter, so the Mac update went out as an email version to all of those people as well. We sometimes use the email newsletter to give people a sneak peek of things. So last year, for example, everybody who was on our mailing list got to see the 1261 programme a few days in advance of everybody else. And again, we might do that with our new projects. So if you are on our mailing list, you will maybe find out first. So yeah, it does continue to grow.
Well, once again, thank you very much for your dedication and hard work on communications. Obviously, it doesn't go unnoticed. You know, the people who are coming to town centre may have seen one of the posts. Also, you know, heard on the radio and the other bits. So thank you very much for the work you're doing on that. Any other comments or questions?
Could I just say,
Yeah.
Chair, obviously the relationships we have with people are really important when it comes to comms, and I'd just like to say a huge thank you to Nub News and Silk FM, who, when we had to change the location of Nature Needs You due to the weather, they both helped us get that message out there, and they talked about it on the radio, and Nub News did an extra article about it to say that we'd moved and where everything was going to be. And if it wasn't for people like them and the relationships we have, then not as many people would have known. So just a big thank you to them.
And again, it just shows the strength of the town wanting to come together and work together to be able to provide the information needed to help direct people in the right place. Thank you. Okay, so if there's no other comments on the communications, just to confirm the time and date of the next meeting of the Services Committee will be here at Town Hall on the 1st of December at 7 p.m. Thank you very much.